evening in a gun battle with the police where he came out victorious.
Police had no idea why this hail of bullets had been unleashed.
He knew what he was doing, this bloke with a handgun. He must have had some sort of formal training, and that he consistently engaged the police effectively. His bullets were hitting the police. He wasn't getting hit himself. He was at large with a large number of firearms, to our knowledge, and a large amount of ammo. We didn't know where he was.
But they were soon to learn who they were dealing with. Max Clark was actually Pavel Marinov, a Bulgarian army deserter and military weapons expert. He would soon be dubbed Mad Max, for good reason. His night of terror was not over yet. In fact, his one-man war against police would not end before a final, violent shootout. A shooting rampage in a single night by a lone gunman tagged as Mad Max has left 3 police seriously wounded. Graham Sace huddled with his partner in the footwell of a police car while under fire. He can't believe he's still alive.
I'll never forget that moment. Marinof dropping down beside the car, the noise, the light, the look, the muzzle flash. Yeah, I remember in a later interview, Ray Kirkwood, I thought, described it brilliantly when he said, "I've learnt that 2 coppers can't fit in an ashtray."
But the rampage is not over. The gunman is still on the loose and believed to be on foot.
So basically we were getting panic descriptions of what was going on, who, what, when, where, how. Primary objective at this stage was to contain the offender and minimise the risk to the public.
Good boy. Track.
The dog squad is called in to try to track the shooter.
Sergeant Gary Morell and police dog Digger turn up to the scene in company with a team of SOG troopers.
Everyone's on edge when a criminal's out at large and shooting at police. Anyone that gets in Mad Max's way is obviously the enemy.
What Gary Morell doesn't know is he's walking into an ambush. Mad Max is taking aim from a rooftop.
He had no regard for his own safety. Him and his dog were in there tracking down this armed man who just shot a number of police and was still at large in that area. Showed a hell of a lot of courage and ultimately almost cost him his life.
I felt a whack to my chest and I fell to the ground. I was thinking, this is not a good situation. I was lucky to survive that shooting. Bulletproof vest no doubt saved my life at the time.
He shot Gary Morell. There was no need to. He'd made his escape, but he lay in waiting for the dog handler and his dog to come through and then shot them.
In my knowledge, it's unprecedented. We're talking quite a remarkable chain of events here. 3 gun battles in a period of a very short time. On each occasion, he comes out victorious.
Stunned police sealed off a large area of Noble Park as the gunman began a game of cat and mouse, seemingly intent on picking them off. Deputy Commissioner Eric Miller says there appears to be no motive for the shootings.
He's demonstrated he's a madman.
The first victim of the rampage, Brian Stuke, had been shot 4 times. The last 2 shots delivered while he lay helpless on the ground.
It was one of my best friends, Sergeant Mel Davey. He was one of the first to arrive. He'd been in the station and heard the call come over. He arrived and was cradling me in his arms and trying to comfort me. But at that stage, I realised that I couldn't move, and I feared that I was paralysed and feared that life wouldn't be worthwhile living. And I just said to him, "Just let me go, just let me go."
We were all sound asleep, never expecting that you're going to be woken to the persistent knocking. Was Mel Davey, everyone's perhaps closest friend there to tell us that he'd been in an accident and that they'd arranged for someone to pick me up and take me to the hospital.
On the night I was transferred by ambulance fairly quickly. I was conscious. I was being assured going into the hospital that they couldn't find any entry sites into my spine from the back.
I was quite shocked to see him bloodied, and I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't what I thought it would be. After he was taken into surgery, the car brought me back home. And at that stage, the phone rang, and it was the neurosurgeon, and he said that he would never walk again. The doctor put it as bluntly as that. And I think that's probably when the tears really started.
It was a frightening prospect that I would go through the rest of my life not being able to walk, and I wasn't sure how I was going to cope.
Police were back out on the streets in a search that appears no closer to finding the gunman than when it first began.
You get a picture of this. Major Crime Squad guys are turning up there at sort of 5 o'clock in the morning. You know, all that standard Major Crime Squad detective, hairy-chested stuff.
When I did get to the scene, he was still on the loose, and there were just police everywhere.
Using every resource at their disposal, police were confident it was only a matter of time before they found their man.
This evening, an extra 30 men were swung into the operation, and that brings to 130 the number of those involved in this manhunt.
As day gave way to darkness, the local community was living in fear.
Everyone in our family is really scared.
For all I know, he could be in the shed at the back of our house.
A lot of the residents, especially my girlfriend, she's pretty scared.
Will you be going out tonight?
No. I lock all the door.
A full contingent of uniformed Special Operations Group and Dog Squad officers remain on full-time alert, and the police helicopter is almost constantly in the air.
As far as I can remember, there was some kind of a sighting just off of Springvale Road in one of the roads that connected to very close to the primary school. A police helicopter that was going around the whole day suddenly shone its searchlight on me, and as an 8-year-old I just thought, this guy's right behind me, and I needed to run, so I ran as fast as my little legs could go and jumped over the fence and hammered on the door so that my brother or my dad would open up for me and let me in.
The search has become a frustrating saga for more than 100 policemen on a round-the-clock watch. They are still convinced the fugitive is hiding out in the area.
Police are gearing up for another night of waiting and hoping. They're convinced the man is still in the area, and as a result, there is no sign of any sort of wind down to the search. They have issued a special warning to people living in the area that they should be careful over the weekend if the search does continue.
Police feared if they didn't catch Mad Max soon, there would be more bloodshed to come.
Someone like Mad Max is prepared to shoot the police. Ordinary people haven't got a chance.
And police fears were well-founded. They knew they were hunting a man so obsessed by guns, he had stockpiled a terrifying arsenal of weapons. In June 1985, police were desperately hunting this man, an armed and vicious gunman tagged by the media as Mad Max.
Mad Max, in my opinion,